Okay, so I'm John Clark. This project is M15 to trial kits boost adoption of IoT. I've said this is a pitch-in micro project, so all the projects you've seen so far have been mini projects. This is about a tenth of the size. It was a very, very small project. So this is, I've written what I think is a commensurate presentation. So I'm pitch-in lead. Left to my own devices, I have the chair in computer and information security, or cyber security, if you want a more modern term. So, right, so do trial kits boost adoption of IoT? Well, this was with a project with Elements Technology. Now, I've taken this slide because it has a nice picture there from the KTN. It's probably worthwhile actually giving the KTN a good shout. So the CEO of this company is Joe Hansecker, who the company is based in Sheffield, essentially that's where their offices are. The University of Sheffield, in that case, it was me, met Joe at a KTN event, which we were hosting on behalf of the KTN. So that was the KTN that actually brought us together and introduced us. The KTN played a major part in actually networking, developing the networks for Elements Technology, and facilitating access to investment. I think it was Mercia Investments or West Mercia Investments actually have pump primed a startup in its initial stages, and it's beginning to go some distance. So as I said, just to give a shout out for the KTN, this was the KTN doing their jobs. So we ended up meeting someone from Sheffield in Sheffield, which we hadn't previously done. So I met Sheffield. I met Joe Hansecker, the CEO, at the KTN event that we hosted. So you can look this up. I've given, if you're interested in what the KTN have done for Elements Technology, and it's very significant, go and look at that address at the top. It's on the KTN website. If you want more to know about this, look at the system. You actually, the address below is Element Technologies system. Now you can see from here what this enables you to do. It looks like a bit of hardware, so you're actually scanning cards here using a mobile phone. It does an awful lot more. You can enter. It essentially tracks and traces stuff around the factory. You can load documents to be associated with particular orders. You can create orders. It does a variety of diagnostics. It does a variety of predictives on the ordering and things like that. So for the details, go and have a look at the Elements Technology Center. Okay, so it's a small company. I think they were probably 4 strong when we worked with them. They may have more now, although we don't know under pandemic conditions, but they are a startup essentially. So why would you want to look at trial kits at all? Well, it provides an alternative. This was the idea. It provides an alternative to and an improvement on providing a demonstration. So you actually go along and say, here's some kit, here's some hardware, here's some software. We'll help you get it up and running. Go play with it and then come back and buy the proper product later. I mean, essentially, that's the idea. Is there merit in actually providing free kit? And that would be mobile phones. It's an Android-based app. Mobile phones, some cards, and actually just try to integrate it in your system for a little bit, into your company for a bit of a trial. Well, if you actually do it on your own system, it allows informed decision as to whether to proceed with an investment for a full solution. And the final one, it allows customers to try the product in their own facility and get to grips with their own processes and understand them, and gain a strong understanding of the products that are actually offered by Elements, in particular this Docket one, which is the subject of this, and their benefits and flaws. And the company did actually find out they needed to improve certain things. So it was a bit of a learning exercise. I should point out that this is a project which is about less than a tenth of most of the projects we've funded under manufacturing. So it was a get to know you type project. Well, okay, so it's Elements Technologies here, and it's Docket, it's that system. It's much more than just the mobile phone and the card that you're actually scanning there. There's a whole lot of back-end software for essentially following your order or following an order around the manufacturing process. And it's ticked off at various sites. They're logged in. You can put in comments on it. You can, you can put verbal descriptions in. You can put text descriptions in and things like this. They tested this out on, I say it's comparatively a micro project. They tested it out with 3 companies. I think these were introduced by the AMRC, in fact. And you can see they're of different sizes, which is an obvious thing to do. They set on a 6-week trial. They worked with the manufacturer to get the system up and running. They returned every 2 weeks to find out how it was going, and they followed up on completion. And there were 2 technical support members available, certainly Monday to Friday. And Joe believes in having an appropriate balance. So it was these hours Monday to Friday. So that's what it is. So they actually made quite a bit of effort available. So what was the result? At the end of the day, they want someone to say, yes, we've trialed your kit. The hardware you sent us and software was great. We now understand how to use it. We'd like to buy it. That was the idea. The question is that true? The answer is no. Right. For the 3 companies that took place, none of them went on to purchase the actual system. So this is a hardware and software freebie. None of them went on to purchase it for different reasons. The micro manufacturers, this is the 2-person outfit, realized that they could manage without the technology due to their size. Well, fair enough. The small manufacturer was only interested in open software, and had only wanted to assess the underlying contactless technology used as part of the element software, which is not the sort of trial customer you are really happy to have and find this out later on. I think that's an interesting issue as to who engages with these things. And the medium-sized one, this is the larger one, going up to a little less than 250. Wanted, the people who had actually tried it wanted it, but they couldn't get the approval of the board. Now, for reasons I don't know, the reports don't actually say. What's actually happened as a result? Well, they're pivoting away from what might be described as full stack operation, and they see themselves much more as a software as a service type company. So you get loads of analytics, etc. I should point out the model here is if you have like 6 users or something, you don't pay anything, and 100 orders a week, you don't pay anything for it. It's geared up, it's low cost. Other than that, it's about £30 per user in your factory, and unlimited orders. So it's actually, the whole business model at the moment is geared towards massive takeoff of this sort of thing. It's not expensive to run, it really isn't. But they're pivoting away from what might be described as full stack solutions and providing more of the back end stuff for data analytics and things like that. They're moving away from the starter kit trial, which they reckon just doesn't work, to a 14-day free offering. And the idea is they will, the closer you get to the start point from when they've agreed to do something, the more likely they seem to be, this is based on also some subsequent activity as well, the more likely they are to actually buy into the thing at the end. And that's just, this is not an expensive system at all. So support staffing, they made support staff available, would not be scalable. You know, they couldn't actually do what they did for these 3 companies with the current business model, which envisages people, but lots and lots and lots of companies actually buying this from T5. They just would not be able to staff the support for this. They did identify the need to improve the software and the training, come up with videos for explanations and walkthroughs and things like this. So that's what, and there's a need to include a range of videos. So it was a short scale project, small scale project. They learned something from it. They seem to be going from strength to strength, incidentally, and they're proving to be actually a really useful set of people to know. They help us as well from time to time. So they'll come along and talk to our students and things like this. And so I think it's just interesting to see how a start-off goes. And I should point that they've been very successful in getting investment into what started as a simple product. It's now getting much more sophisticated behind the scenes, and hence this pivoting strength towards the back end stuff for managing orders around a factory. So it was useful for us. Joe's a really good guy. We're really glad to have partnered up with them to support this. It was essentially them and the AMRC, and we'll see more of them effectively. And I'd give a shout to the KTN as well for supporting very well and enabling to network, which is how they were introduced to us, but also engaging with finance, and they've been successful in getting that. So I'll leave it there, and I think that's probably on time.
Yes, thank you. Any questions for John?
Yeah, it's David from Newcastle here.
Yeah.
John, I think the theme that has come up a lot in various IoT meetups and in this session is that, as it were, the further down the food chain you go, from the very big OEMs down to the very local SMEs, the more there is a sort of a reluctance or even a capability of taking up new technologies. Is that a fair comment? And if so, would you?
I think that may well be right. Of course, it depends on the smaller ones. If something is new, there is an element of no one got sacked for buying IBM, if you like, if you want to take that sort of if something is new and it's a startup, there are just risks which go with that. And the question is, do you want to go down that route? So investing in the technology from a startup, unless you can actually sort of mitigate the risk, etc., it just comes with certain consequences. So I can understand that. So I think from my point of view, in many cases, the answer to that is yes. As they become more established, that becomes assuaged, and so. But yes, it is. I think yeah. I mean, and also actually from some experience in the past, I do remember the person who was my boss at the time. It's usually easier to get 2 million than it is to get £20,000 worth of investment because of the decision-making processes which are involved in gaining those sorts of investment.
So I guess a follow-up question from me relating to pitch in what we do here, which we touch upon training, but do you think there's a bigger role for sort of training and upskilling, to use that horrible word?
The answer to that is yes. So, and that's an interest which is to both Cambridge and Sheffield. I think Max is on the line here from memory. Are you on the line, Max? I think he is. Okay, so Cambridge are involved in developing executive level training for IoT, which I think is absolutely the right place to start, because the reason people don't invest in IoT or anything else for that matter is that at some point someone says no, and whoever says no, you need to change their mind to yes. And there's nothing like top-level support and familiarity and engagement for actually facilitating a whole chain of yeses as it goes up before a decision is made. So I think the answer is yes. We're engaged in other forms of training at Sheffield, but in particular, and incidentally, both Cambridge and Sheffield will certainly be involved in machine learning training for the Digital Catapult's IoT discovery. That's heavily business case oriented. And I really approve, from what I've seen, of more training on how to put together a business case. Because essentially you need to put together an argument to get someone to say yes. So it's this encouraging everybody to say yes at the chain. And it's knowing how to put together a business case for that, knowing what the risks are. And people may be uninformed about the risks, and that's part of the problem. They don't have confidence in their business cases, and they can't, but that's it. And that's part of what Cambridge are doing as their management executive, and it's part of what the Digital Catapult are doing as part of their IoT discovery training program.
You're on mute, Max, or we can't, Maximilian, we can't hear you for some reason. Well, you're not on mute, actually. Your speaker's not working. Try again.
There isn't a word I disagree with.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Apologies. I just want to, thank you very much, John, for mentioning that. Indeed, Imogen, who is also on this call here, and myself, we are working on the pilot delivery at the moment for the course. As you said, it is very much about expanding the business horizons and the business mindset in the industry before they even get to the technical implementation level. So yes, if anyone has questions specific to Cambridge projects, please do reach out to us.
We'll do. It's really great to see. Actually, Kate, Alexandra and Kate, just on behalf of myself as the pitch in PR, can I just say I really like what Cambridge do in manufacturing in particular. I like what Cambridge do generally. It's been really a pleasure to watch and a pleasure to work with Cambridge. And thanks for organising this series, because it's really helped me gain familiarity with what's going on. But I just really like from the quality of the proposals coming in to actually delivering the stuff and running and disseminating. I just think it's been absolutely great. So thank you very much indeed.
I really appreciate it, John. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. And it's, really, it's been a pleasure to set up this engagement. And we have had such good experience in this whole consortium led by you. So thanks for giving us the opportunity, actually.
You're welcome. Let's do it again.
Yes. And I guess